starting off this video with a, haha, what a cheesy pun. No, this is like 12 pointed stars, except this time it's with the major scales, with the sharps in its scales, and then the flats. So just all the major scales for flats and sharps, and then all the minor scales for the flats and sharps, right? So it's divided by major minor scales instead of flat sharps, like the previous videos. So let's do the major scales first. So in red are the scales going up in the number of flats in its key signature. So C major obviously has 0 sharps or flats. F major has 1 flat. And then between the B and A, you got your B flat major, which has 2 flats in it. E flat has 3. A flat has 4. D flat has 5 flats. And then G flat has 6 flats. And then C flat, or B, has the 7 flats in it, right? So swanky dankies. Now let's do the sharps. So from C major, we have G major with 1 sharp, D major with 2 sharps, A major with 3, E with 4 sharps, B major with 5 sharps, and F sharp major with 6 sharps, and then C sharp major with the 7 sharps. Now notice in the major scales that have either 6 sharps or 6 flats in its key signature, they are both the same scale, F sharp, G flat, right? And notice how both the 6s align in this particular example, right? Also notice, so if we do, let's say, from all the sharps and then down through to the flats, right? Eventually, so once we get to the D flat scale, that would be the same as your C sharp, and then these are the same, of course, and then C flat is B. So notice how at the D flat here, that's when you notice like both the lines starting to come together. So for the sharps, boom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then notice how both the lines are parallel for these scales right here, which would be 5, 6, 7, right? Or your B, F sharp, C sharp, or else you could say C flat, G flat, and D flat for the scales. And notice, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, and how they overlap, right? So that's an interesting note to take as well for the scales. Okay, now for the minor scales, we have the ones in the sharps are in green, and then the flats are in purple or schmurples. And then, of course, we have the A minor, which doesn't have any sharps or flats in it, right? So E is the minor scale that has 1 sharp in it. It was the 1. B minor has 2. And then F sharp minor has 3, which is between the G and F here, right? And then C sharp minor is 4. G sharp minor is 5. And then D sharp minor is 6. And A sharp minor is 7, right? And also notice for 5, 6, 7, right? Those scales overlap as well. And so let's do the flats now. So we did the sharps. So now for the flats, A, D, notice how it's kind of mirroring. So D minor has 1 flat, and then G minor 2 flats, C minor 3 flats, F minor 4 flats, and then B flat minor has 5 flats, and then E flat minor has 6 flats, and then finally A flat minor has the 7 flats. So notice here, so B flat or A sharp, they're the same scale, 5, 7, right? And then also we have D sharp or E flat. These are also the same scale. And notice how it links with 6 once again, right? Just like in the major scales. And then finally, we have a G sharp or A flat, which is, you know, the other 7/5 on this 12-pointed star, right? So notice, just like the minor scales, just similar with the sharp scales. So we have your starting point, right? Boom, boom. And notice how this is horizontal, vertical starting point, right? And notice how the ending points are on either side of the starting points here for the major and minor scales for the sharps and flats in a 12-pointed star, right? And then, of course, 6 right here, directly across from the 0. So this is like horizontal, and this is physical. So this is where, you know, the whole circle thing I was talking about, where, you know, you have, let's say, the half circle, which is 180 degrees. Halfway point would be 90 degrees, right? And then you decide to do the full circle, 360 degrees. Well, the halfway point between 360 degrees is 180, which was the ending point of the half circle, right? So you kind of have that concept built into the major and minor scales if you look at those closely. So shall we mirror these, huh? So 3, 3, 3, 3, right? And then we got 2, 4, 2, 4. And then we got 1 and 7, 5. 1 and 7, 5, right? And then we have the C6 or 0, 6, right? A6, right? And then we have, check it out. Not only do these kind of mirror together, but so 1, 4, 3, 2, 7, 5, 7, 5, right? So check this out now. So 6, 1, 4, 3, and then 2, 2, and 7, 5, 7, 5, right? So those also mirror as well in the major scales. And notice how it mirrors in, like, this is like the horizontal, so this would be mirroring in the vertical dimension instead, right? For the major and minor scales, which is quite interesting to note. So lots of fun, quirky patterns there. Anyways, have a snazzy dazzy one, everyone.